What if DELPHOX was in Gen 1 OU? Now, as far as starters go, DELPHOX isn't usually one of the more popular ones, to put it nicely, especially when compared to Greninja. But luckily, this is not about a popularity contest, which in some ways is kind of unfortunate because DELPHOX here is really good in Gen 1. And if it was really good in Gen 1, I promise you it would have significantly more fans than it does today. Which is both the good and bad thing about competitive. Sometimes Pokemon that you never thought about before, or Pokemon you actively disliked, can sometimes become your favorite after you use it in competitive and you see its worthwhileness. And at least for people on my server who get to use DELPHOX in Gen 1, they probably have managed to experience that. Well, a lot of people don't, which that's unfortunate, but let's talk about why DELPHOX is good in Gen 1. Well, for starters, it's a Psychic type. That part should have been self-explanatory from the get-go. And it's a Psychic type with unique secondary typing, that being Fire, which does have its advantages, but already that's a pretty good start. Along with that, it has Hypnosis, a sleep-inducing move, and an accurate one, sure, but for Gen 1, Sleep is so powerful that it is very well worth the gamble. Heck, even in Gen 3, Hypnosis with Gengar, and when you're able to do it, Hypnosis with Iron Valiant and Darkrai, those were also just worth the gamble sometimes, because Sleep is just that powerful. So having access to that, really good. Along with that, it has really good stats for Gen 1. Hypnosis on its own is already great, but when I tried thinking of this Pokemon for the Halloween Jumble, I only thought of it just for being a witch Pokemon, and for having cool stabs. I did not realize this thing was so fast at 104 base speed, which I don't understand why it's that fast. Greninja, obviously, it's like a ninja frog, but why is the witch so... I don't get it. But I guess I should be complaining. That gives it a really good niche, because with 104 speed, you are faster than freaking Zapdos. So, already, that's huge. You're also faster than Jinx, and not only are you faster than Jinx, but you have Fire Blast as your secondary stab. That's a 30% chance to burn, so Snorlax fears that. Rhydon can't necessarily switch into you, and even Tauros, it needs to be very wary of it. And with a crit, and mind you, you have a better crit chance than both Zapdos and Jinx. With 104 speed, it's probably like I think it's like literally a 20% chance to crit, give or take, which is insane with 114 special attack. So just the threat of OHKOing, Exeggutor, and Jinx, that's good. And with coverage, you have Thunder Punch, which would be special in Gen 1, meaning that you have a pretty decent special electric move with fire coverage, which means you can also hit Starmie pretty decent damage. You can hit Starmie for decent damage as well. And with Hypnosis, it's also just a good lead. And let's just think about that for a moment. What are the most popular leads in Gen 1? Starmie, followed by Jinx, and then you'll see Exeggutor and other things like Chansey and Alakazam. DELPHOX does good against all of those. It kinda cares about Paralysis, especially with that admittedly very crippling Earthquake weakness. But I guarantee you Alakazam hates Sleep way more than DELPHOX hates Paralysis. So outspeeding Jinx and Exeggutor, or potentially OHKOing them with a critical Fire Blast, that's huge. Let's also not forget you have Fire Spin as well. So you can just get rid of Thunder Punch if you want. That way you can just get that chip damage in and get a guaranteed KO on Jinx or Exeggutor. Or you can do it just so you can see where they switch into, and then you can go into your own pivot. And then with Hypnosis, you could put Starmie to sleep and potentially have super effective coverage on it. It could have Surf, but if it doesn't, oh boy, Starmie's in trouble. So overnight, I think DELPHOX just becomes the best lead in the game. I guess Gengar is also a popular lead, but with both of you using Hypnosis, but one of you having a very super effective Psychic, I don't think Gengar breaks that either. And that's probably like the third most common lead as well. So with some of the most common leads, DELPHOX does amazing against, and scares so many things out. And that's not even the best way you could use DELPHOX. DELPHOX most likely is just a really good mid to late cleaner. So that is just amazing. You hit hard with 2 gut stabs. We haven't even talked about just Psychic. Stab Psychic, hitting harder than Starmie's Psychic with a 30% chance to lower special? That's just crazy. So overall, just an incredible Pokemon with also some versatility. I didn't do it for this video, but for Generation Jumble, it does have a signature Mystic Fire. And earlier today, my council member Satina was telling me just how good it actually is. You've probably heard of Mystic Fire, but just in case you're someone who mostly plays the newer generations, it's a fire move with a 100% chance to lower a target's special attack by 1. This is incredibly annoying, and it's just really good for Gen 1, where there's so many special users and special Psychic types. Due to how Gen 1 custom games works, it's only lowering their special attack, not their special defense, but still, a very useful thing to have. And as a bonus, the way fire attacks work in Gen 1, all of them don't always have a guaranteed chance to thaw out ice or a frozen Pokemon. Fire Blast, Flamethrower, and even Ember, all of these do, sure. That's only because they have a chance to burn, and it's moves with a secondary chance to burn that can thaw out Pokemon. Fire Spin is the only fire move in Gen 1 that doesn't have a chance to burn, so it can't thaw out a Pokemon. But Mystical Fire doesn't have a burn chance either, which means you could use these and they can switch into a frozen Pokemon, but they can't thaw out. For the purposes of these replays, I didn't have Mystical Fire because I just feel like I didn't need it. And by that, I mean I completely forgot about it. But just know that if this were to be added in another season of Generation Jumble, it will have it. And it's just really good. By the way, speaking of Generation Jumble, you should join my Discord server, because I host tournaments based off my what-if scenarios. I have Swoobat and I have 4 guys I need to take care of, but afterwards, you're going to see DELPHOX, you're going to see Skeleturge, you're going to see Gliscor and some other Pokemon by Grimmsnarl, because I had a Halloween tournament, and later this week, I will be posting all the results every single round, and that'll be a lot of fun, so please be sure to check that out. But for now, let's get on to the replays, shall we? Starting off with the boy himself, we got Tauros. Tauros is faster, sure, but Sleep in of itself is just insanely scary. And as a bonus, you have a Fire Blast, which is a Queen to a KO. Even if you ignore the Hypnosis or something else as a Sleep, then you just have a move that has a high chance of critting or 30% chance to burn. However, Tauros does have a better chance of critting Earthquake than you do Fire Blast, and it's just more accurate. So no matter what, it could go either way. But one where I think you're kind of more scared is Tauros, just because Tauros is just a more important Pokemon in general. And there's a critical Fire Blast doing massive damage to Snorlax. And that's without a burn. With a burn, there's not much Snorlax can do to DELPHOX at all. How does Amnesia do? Well, we're already being pretty generous for this replay, assuming that something else is already put to sleep. And with Psychic, you could lower Snorlax's special, which is already, not that good, considering how much Amnesia X can boost. But this is where it's just useful just having, like, Hypnosis, which, normally for these replays, I usually try to ignore the sleep moves for, like, Victory Bell, Executor, and Jinx. But for Pokemon like this, I am more leaning to factor it in for how good the Pokemon's viability. I worded that kind of weirdly, but basically, the reason why I don't like doing it for the standard Gen 1 Pokemon is that we're trying to determine how good the new Pokemon of the day would be. And with something like Sleep Clause being in effect, saying, oh, DELPHOX would be kinda... It would be a could go either way with Jinx, because if it misses Hypnosis, then Jinx can hit Lovely Kiss. Like, Sleep Clause exists and something else can be put to sleep. So I'd rather show how the Pokemon does in a 1v1. Now for a new Pokemon, like for DELPHOX here, it's more than just seeing how it does against the other Gen 1 Pokemon. It's trying to determine, would this thing be an OU? If it is an OU, why would I want to use it other Pokemon? So DELPHOX here, I feel like I need to show it, at least some of the replays with Hypnosis, because that is a reason why you would be using over others. I'm sorry if that rant made no sense. I don't know, I can't think of a better way to really, like, explain my thought process there. But just know that, like, for these replays, I really didn't want to use Hypnosis, but there's like many different times, like with the Amnesia Wax, and like here with like Chansey, where I didn't want to, because I feel like you're just not really getting to anything, but still, I feel like you kind of need to, because obviously, if you had the tool available, you would, and being able to like put Chansey to sleep is a huge difference. I guess with this replay here, you can see where even that's not enough, where you're not really hurting with Psychic without Special Drop. You get Paralyzed, and Seismic Toss chips you down, and Hypnosis can just miss. There's a reason why it's always called Hypnomiss. So for Chansey, I put it in bad matchup for the tier list, but I guess you can call it could go either way. But that's with Hypnosis exactly. Otherwise, I think Chansey just takes it comfortably. And here's Zam. Here's another one where I probably should have gone for Hypnosis. But to be fair, Fire Blast as a strong special move just does pretty good damage. Zam can get special drops, Paralysis is always annoying, Seismic Toss is good chip damage. At the same time, DELPHOX can also put in some work. Without Hypnosis, it's a lot tougher, but you still have a good crit rate, and your chances of getting a special drop are just as good as Alakazam's. Along with that, just a powerful Fire Blast, which does even better if you get the crit. So overall, I'd call this a could go either way. Does one have a better chance than the other? I have no idea. I really don't. But let's get a move on. Next should be Cloyster. And with Clamp, obviously, that can kind of hurt. But DELPHOX also just has good fire coverage. And I've done enough of these replays to know that Stabbed Fire Blast always does ever so slightly more damage than Thunder Punch. Which is weird, but kind of cool. So Clamp does pretty good damage, but it's not always guaranteed to get a kill. But still, pretty scary, especially if it gets a crit. Though, obviously, DELPHOX has a better chance of getting a crit. And a critical Fire Blast, Cloyster definitely would not be surviving. So just the definition of a could go either way, I do say so myself. And with Mystical Fire, you do a lot better, but I don't think you want to risk it. I already mentioned why this is so good, and even without a crit, you can also just go for Fire Spin just to make sure it's in the perfect damage range where you can KO even without a crit. But I just want to say, I tried doing that at first, but I'm not joking. I did 6 replays in a row where I tried to go for Fire Spin and Trapping Executor, and all 6 times, DELPHOX missed Fire Spin, Executor went for Explosion. It also happened so frequently with each other that Showdown said, you need to slow down, you can't challenge it for a little bit. And I was so ticked off that I've delayed this video for 3 days. Like, that's... I probably made way too many of these videos, and I probably played way too much Gen 1, both on ladder and for Generation Jumble, to where I shouldn't be getting salty about Gen 1 RNG like that, because it's Gen 1, getting stacked is just kind of how it goes. There's a reason it's so much different from every other gen. Well, I don't know, I think all of us have our moment of weaknesses sometimes. And that was mine. Missing 6 fire spins like that it was annoying. Very, very annoying. let's get back on track. We have Gengar. Didn't bother showing a Hypnosis Roar. I was going to just show DELPHOX just beating with Psychic, but they didn't get a crit, which, you know, is guaranteed when you're just having a lot of high charisma. But otherwise, Gengar is just going for Thunderbolt, and it's probably not going to be that confident, so probably won't even get a crit. But even with a crit, DELPHOX is probably fine. It's just not a match you want to risk at all. Not to mention with Gengar switching in against like a Fire Blast, not only is that still going to do decent damage to Gengar, but there's a chance of Gengar getting burned. And if Gengar gets burned, Explosion doesn't do as much. Now here's Jolteon. This is the only matchup that I just really don't know what to talk about. And that's just Jolteon in general. Because for 1v1s like this, that's not usually how you're using Jolteon. And if it's not Jolteon dominates because it's weak to electric, or if it's not this thing resists electric or it's ground type and dominates Jolteon, it's what you have here. Where it's usually just two strong special attackers fighting each other. Jolteon probably gets a T-Wave in. The other's one usually does that too, or just goes for a different status move. Or it's just both of them trying to hit each other. So it's just kind of weird, because I really feel like I just can't say anything about DELPHOX versus Jolteon. Because it's just DELPHOX going for Psychic, maybe getting a crit or a special drop, and then Jolteon paralyzing DELPHOX and then going for Thunderbolt and then waiting for a crit. You just... how do you describe that? Let me know in the comments below if you think of a better way to describe Jolteon matchups. But I always struggle. Now here's Jinx. And here we have DELPHOX missing Fire Blast twice. I guess I should have mentioned that for the replay. But to my surprise, DELPHOX can tank the 2 Blizzards from Jinx, which I wouldn't have expected. So I'm still going to call this a great matchup. I think DELPHOX just got incredibly unlucky there, which probably will not happen much in the future. Unless you're like, you know, someone who gets boned by RNG a lot. But unfortunately for like Rhydon here, RNG does not have much to say in the matter. I really thought Psychic was going to do more, considering Rhydon only has 45 special and DELPHOX only has 114 special attack. I guess I was wrong. And I'm pretty sure from that damage range, Rhydon could even survive a crit. It could be just a range as well, so maybe a slightly higher damage range with a crit can OHKO. But I don't think you're risking that. It's not unwinnable, especially with Fire Spin or getting a burn with Fire Blast. There's a chance you can beat it, but I wouldn't bet on it. Now next we have Slowbro, and this one's pretty surprising, because with Amnesia, obviously it OHKOs, but Hypnosis is just as good as ever. But way more importantly, since you have a better crit chance than Zapdos, getting a crit on Slowbro means the other Amnesia cannot kill. And Slowbro can't kill you with just one super effective Surf. I'm pretty sure it gets close, but... no, I think DELPHOX survives that in Gen 1, considering it would have max HP and special defense. So this is, to my surprise, a could go either way, with or without Hypnosis, which I think is pretty cool. And to be honest, I actually don't know how good Slowbro's doing with Generation Jumble Season 4. I still haven't reacted to most of the replays, despite being in Winners Finals. But here's Starmie, and this one I don't have too much to say, because for Starmie, it's literally just, you either have Surf, or you lose badly. Because with Thunderbolt and Psychic, you're not really doing that much. Blizzard could hurt, especially with a crit, but not something you want to use against a Pokemon with Hypnosis and Thunder Punch. And to be fair, with how good DELPHOX is, Surf on Starmie would become like kinda mandatory in most cases. But still, I'm calling it could go either way. Because even if it does have Surf, the threat of Hypnosis is still really big. Even if Starmie is usually your preferred sleep sack in most games. I don't know why I'm bothering a regular replay. I think I just kind of felt obligated to include all of the Gen 1 OU Pokemon. So here's Victreebel getting killed. Huzzah, I hope you were entertained by that. Unless you're Zastuli, in which case you're probably just upset about Victreebel slander. Next up we have Zapdos. And in this replay, DELPHOX unfortunately had to deal with some paralysis issues, which it doesn't always have to deal with, and I don't think it matters too much. I guess since you're faster than Zapdos, you can maybe say it's a good matchup, because you can put Zapdos to sleep, but again, sleep clause is a thing, and without it, it's basically just the same situation with Jolteon, except both of you hit really hard, so I think it's more of a could go either way, since sometimes Zapdos can just hit you for a lot of damage. And last but not least, this is the main one that I'm sure you guys were wondering on. What about DELPHOX versus Charmander? And I'm glad you asked. Now, whoever wins this one, it just depends on the level. So like in this example, with Charmander being a level 350, it does significantly better. And even with Scratch, you just have such high HP, attack, and well, quite literally everything, that DELPHOX cannot do anything. Even with a special drop or a crit, it is not going to do much to a level 350 Charmander, giving Charmander just a guaranteed victory. So overall, here's the tier list, and I think this is definitely one of the better Pokemon I have covered. In fact, I'm pretty sure there's a mod where it's every single modern Pokemon in Gen 1. I think it's called Pokemon Burgundy or something like that. And DELPHOX is really good there, for pretty much a lot of the reasons that I mentioned. But what do you think? Do you think DELPHOX would be OU? Or do you think the fire typing would hold it back a lot? How do you think it's doing in Generation Jumble? One thing I will say about Jumble is that this time I will be able to show you actual visuals for the usage rate for each of the rounds. So you'll be able to see directly just how good something is. And that sounds like it'll be pretty fun. But I'll have to worry about that later. Until next time, this is Groundback, and I look forward to hearing from you.